Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. Before we get into the video, there's a little bit of housekeeping I'd like to take care of. First of all, Martin Taylor Reid, thank you very much. Very, very kind of you, very generous. We always appreciate when people do that. It does help the channel enormously. So you have our deep thanks and respect. Second thing, Uncanny Gary. Uncanny Gary, you know who you are. You made a post, you made a comment there. I took it on board. You are quite right. We have tended to focus somewhat in one particular area of late. It's just because that circus is, it's never ending. And it is very, very amusing and constant. It's very high in the news, constantly moving. But you are right. And we are going to mix it up a bit, which is why this one is going back to a bit of a sort of the older stuff as well. We've got two today that are actually not SNP related, but there are a couple more that are. So we are going to mix up a bit. But while this circus is still bringing on the clowns every few minutes, we've obviously got to keep pushing it. Anyway, this first video is all about Michael Gove and the what's the word I'm looking for here? The hypocrisy, I suppose, or the double standards. Rules for thee, but not for me. Now, I will put my hand up before we get into this. I must put my hand up and say that I am that most terrible of things. I am an ex-smoker. At my peak, I was doing 40 a day regularly. For go out drinking, it could be 60 a day, and it was, back in the day. I mean, I was earning good money. I could afford it. I couldn't probably afford it now. There was, I don't know, about £14-15 a packet now. My God, but it was back then. I was earning a lot of money. I was doing it. You could walk into pubs and bars. You could do it everywhere. And then they brought in the ban, and even then that didn't get me. It wasn't until 2015, I think, is when I finally gave it up, stubbed it out, and never put one to my lips again. And by God, I was a bugger to live with for a good 6 months, I think. Certainly the first 3 months were hell on earth. But even the first 6 months, it would occasionally be, be a bit short every now and again. I mean, it's now, 8 years? And you know what? When I'm stressed now, I could still pick one up. It's terrible, isn't it? So if you haven't yet given up, do please give up. The money you save, if nothing else. Anyway, the thing is, there are, of course, quite a few people who still do partake and smoke occasionally. Or even quite a lot, And one of these people is Michael Gove. Now, where we are told that we cannot do this, we cannot smoke indoors in a workplace or in an indoor public area or things like that, that rule does not, of course, apply if you're an MP, because obviously they are the elite and the rules don't apply to them. But they damn well should. If they're sitting there bringing in rules that everyone else has to obey, they should be made to obey. So let's have a look to see why Michael Gove thinks that he deserves somewhere special to smoke, whereas the rest of us don't. It's good. So one rule for them. Public banned from smoking indoors, but government minister gets a private smoking room at his department. They've actually built this place just so he can shoot off upstairs and sit there nice and comfortable in the warm, out of the wind, out of the rain, and puffing on his little adult dummy. I don't know, look at me being a complete, the worst person ever. Look at me, anti-smoking, because ex-smokers, we're all smoking Nazis, we're all smoking Nazis. Governments worldwide may be trying to stub out the habit, but the British government has paid for a private rooftop smoking room, so one top politician can puff away in peace. Only probably because nobody wants to sit with him. A special room for smoking, alternatively described as a hut or den, has been built on the roof of a government building in Westminster, so top Conservative Michael Gove can have a cigarette without interacting with the public. Now the thing is, it's actually illegal. I mean, you can have a smoking shelter, but it must be open on at least two sides. And you can guarantee this won't be. They're calling this a hut, so it's going to be enclosed so he doesn't get wet and windy and, and cold. It's illegal. Why should he get that privilege and not anyone else? Anyway, This is apparently in response to his habit of popping out of the office for a smoke, and the tightly packed buildings in Whitehall and Westminster don't typically have private garden space, which is now considered a security risk. Well, if you stopped being a tit, people wouldn't, want to do anything to you. While reporting on the erection of the smokers' salon, oh, it's a salon now, is it? It's getting better, isn't it? On the Home Office roof, it's focused on Gove's recent interaction with anti-lockdown protesters who heckled him as he walked through Westminster. But perhaps also as important is the revelation of the tourist who ended the life of fellow Conservative Member for Parliament David Amess, and had intended to end the life of Gove as well. It was revealed during the trial of Ali Harbi Ali that he had visited the home of Mr Gove on several occasions in 2021, intending to take his life while he was out running. A report in The Sun notes that the secure smoking area was provided on the strong advice of police and security officials after Gove was harassed by the anti-vax protesters, threatening to end him with a rope, and following the discovery that David Amess's attacker had visited Gove's home on 5 occasions with a little pointy item. Got to be careful of the words you use. Now, the fact is, okay, he wants a little area where you can go up there and smoke a ciggy, and that's fine. But why does it have to be an enclosed salon now? Why can't he have one of those little old bus shelter things that everyone else has to put up with? Why is he special? What makes him better than anyone else? Okay, he's not. He smokes, he gets a bus shelter type of smoking place. He doesn't get his own gentleman's club, probably with sofa, a little table, maybe some brandy and a glass beside him. What an absolute dick. Anyway, smoking indoors in places of work was banned in the UK, as it is across most of Europe, in 2007. Strangely not in Switzerland, the one place you thought they would have. There are minor exceptions for smoking in bus shelter-like enclosures, which can protect from the rain, but otherwise must remain open to the elements. Yeah, they must have at least 2 sides open to the elements. Gove is not the only politician by far to use taxpayers' money to sustain his habit while pushing bans on the public. Inside the European Union's own parliament, despite the ban on smoking indoors, members have the use of private smoking rooms, a privilege not afforded otherwise to the public. Indeed, in Belgium, the home of the European Parliament, smoking outdoors is even being banned, and in France, smoking is banned indoors, and even outdoor railway stations ban tobacco, and indeed so do British outdoor railway stations. I remember the good old days when I was a smoker, and you could smoke everywhere. I remember smoking on trains. I remember smoking on planes. And here's one, and this will surprise people. We were in South America in 2005, and we were flying down to Canaima in Venezuela. And the pilot comes out and he's looking all... I mean, we're all sitting there like it's 100 degrees and we're like, hot, in shorts and T-shirts. And this pilot comes out dressed immaculately in the pilot's outfit, sticks the hat on, wearing the shades, walks out. Mr. Cool gets in the plane, and I'm sitting literally right behind him. I mean, I'm looking at the dashboard of the plane. Anyway, off he takes, up he goes, little twin engine job it was. And we're up, he gets up, he levels off, and then he reaches into his pocket, pulls out a cigarette and lights it. And I tap him on the shoulder and said, "Can we smoke?" Well, all I heard, he said yes, all we heard was all these people. There must have been 20 people in that plane, and about 18 of them lit their cigarettes and smoked. For anyone on the ground, it must have looked like the Red Arrows going past, a big trail of smoke coming out the back of this plane. And that was 2005, and that was the last time I smoked on a plane. 10 years later, I stopped smoking. Anyway, I shall round off and come up, but Gove is a two-faced, hypocritical tosspot, isn't he? And not just for this. I mean, generally, that's exactly what he is. Anyway, coming up. We shouldn't be surprised at the hypocrisy, though. They do a lot of things that... they bring a lot of rules in, shall we say, that affect the vast majority of people, but they make sure that they are insulated from them. They bring in, anything that would make your life a misery, but from which they can lift themselves and extricate themselves. They want to ban this, they want to ban that. They're not banning private jets. They're not banning luxury yachts. Oh, it's bad for the environment. You must stop this. It's bad for the environment. Meanwhile, private jets, luxury yachts. Ban those. Ban those first. Show us that we're all in it together. Because the likes of Gove show that we're not all in it together and that they are standing above us, taking a piss out the window. I mean, that is what they're doing. He needs to have that shelter removed and made to go and stand on the street like all us other plebs. What a tosspot. Anyway, I shall finish there. And I shall say thank you very much for listening. If you like what you see in here on the channel, please hit that subscribe button, ring the bell for notifications of future output, leave a like, leave a comment, please share the video. Definitely leave a like, it really helps with the metrics. And until next time, stay safe, stay well, don't let these buggers get away with this kind of stuff, and goodbye.